ladies, I'm Ashley Keller from GlowBodyPT, and today I'm sharing with you my labor and birth story of Laurel, baby number 4. She is sleeping right here behind me in the bassinet, and this was definitely my second hardest labor. Gavin, my first, was by far the hardest, and this is the second most difficult, which I was not anticipating. This was the labor that brought me closest to God and was just really sanctifying, and not through my own success or my own good work, but purely through God. So I'm just going to share my story just friend to friend, as I would tell my best friend in our living room. It started during Riker's birthday party. So we decided to host Riker's birthday party one day early, just in case I was going to have Laurel. I was already 2 days past due my due date, which I know is subjective. We had 3 of his best buddies come over, and we did camping because that's Riker's favorite thing in the world. So the boys camped in our backyard. 3 of our friends' boys were over, and the labor started that night, which we knew could have been a possibility. And so there were any night to have a sleepover, in which, kids don't really sleep during sleepovers. The boys were in and out of the house literally all night, one of them having to go pee. And I labored all night in our living room so that I could still have eyes on the door. Luke was up and down, mostly sleeping on the couch. I think he felt too guilty to go back to our bed and go to sleep. He walked with me down the road, and I had my playlist on. I was listening to Lauren Daigle playlist. I was listening to Sylvan Esso and This I Believe, The Creed by Hillsong United. Those are kind of my labor songs, which I like to have some labor songs and labor playlists to go to. The house was dark. I was in my element on the yoga mat on the floor, doing my hip circles on the stability ball, leaning over the kitchen counter, just letting my hips go side to side, much like we do in many of my videos where we prepare for labor during pregnancy in my free prenatal training schedule. I was doing all of those things that had been very effective for me in past labors to really help speed up labor, to get baby fully lowered, fully engaged, to be ready to deliver. Walking has been extremely effective for me, and we walked probably a couple miles just up and down the street. So we stayed really close to the boys who were sleeping in the backyard. And around 5:30 in the morning, I reached a point of exhaustion, you guys. I was so tired, hadn't slept all night, starting to just feel quite defeated because contractions were 3 minutes apart, and then 5 minutes apart, 7 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They were not consistent. And in my experience, my contractions need to be consistent for labor to be, for my labor to be telling me it's time to go to the hospital. When they weren't consistent, that was concerning for me. So I was sipping my ice water with a straw. I love to have ice water with a straw. Also had hot nettle tea, which is good for ripening the cervix and encouraging labor to progress. The only things that I really like to eat during labor are clementines in toast with butter. So Luke made me toast. I had 1 clementine. Appetite was really low, which is normal because a lot of women vomit, and your body truly wants to empty itself both ways to prepare for labor. So I don't eat a lot while I'm laboring, nor am I that hungry, but I did want simple sugars and get that readily available glycogen from clementines, as well as electrolytes, to keep me going, because you don't want to be energy depleted during labor. I did get to a point though where I was just so exhausted. I got into the tub for about the 3rd time that night, because being in not hot water, but nice warm water, it can feel very soothing. It's like a relief. It's almost a break. So I got in the tub and reclined back. I ended up passing out at 5:30 in the morning in the tub. I don't even know how that's possible during labor. I woke up maybe 45 minutes later in a daze, and just thinking, it's time to go to the hospital, because I was convinced we would be going to the hospital in those early morning hours, and labor had ceased. And I was so defeated. I was exhausted. I just wanted to give up. I told Luke, I can't do this again tonight. I cannot go through that again. I can't even believe that Laurel is not being delivered right now. I thought for sure we would have a baby by this time, but that was not God's plan. So Luke encouraged me that I should just get out of the house. We should go to soccer together. And I told him, I'm going to take a nap first. You take the kids to the first game. I'll come to the second game. He's like, sounds great if you're feeling up to it. So I took a nap, which was much needed. And if you ever have stalled labor, I would highly recommend it because you need energy. You need energy to deliver a baby, and I needed that rest for what was to come later in the day. I showed up to soccer. Contractions were happening about every 15 to 20 minutes, but they're mild. The type that you can still work through, walk through, kind of talk through. So even having conversations, it was like, yep, this is happening, but it wasn't consistent yet, nor was I ready to get my hopes up that labor was going to actually happen that day. So it was Riker's real birthday. So I'm hoping, baby, just wait till tomorrow. Give Riker his day. Like, don't rain on his parade. But coming home, labor got intense. It got really hard. And I cried at one point. I was on the couch. I was sitting on the couch like this, and I'm leaned over the back of the couch, and just out of not just pain, but out of just sheer defeat of feeling just so exhausted, like I had been laboring for way longer than I had imagined for my fourth baby, the tears just started flooding, you guys. So I started crying, and that's when Luke was like, is it time, Ash? Are you ready to go to the hospital now? And I told him, yeah, I think it is about time to start packing the car. Contractions were 3.5 minutes apart at this point. We live 20 minutes away from my friend Rachel's house, who we need to go back to give all the kids to her. So I had the kids the previous night. Now all the kids were going to go to Rachel's house, and she would be hosting 6. So we go back to her house. And Luke really showed his leadership as a husband, his leadership in this household, and in a way that was really admirable and attractive to me. And he has seen me go through other labors, so he's kind of knows what has worked for me. And he encouraged me, Ash, we should probably walk a couple loops when we get to the neighborhood before we go to the hospital. Because for me, sitting in any position, sitting slows down labor. So my contractions slowed down to 4 minutes when I was in the vehicle, and they didn't increase and shorten in duration again until I got upright. So we ended up walking 3 loops. It's about a 1/4 mile each. And Luke was right there with me. He took a video. I'll show you. I'm just leaning over every telephone pole, a couple times on someone's vehicle, tree, anything I could get to work through those contractions. And I'm not a screamer during labor. I definitely was during my first labor. But over time, I have come to understand that for me, low, deep sounds and low, slow, controlled exhales really helps me get through contractions and know that, hey, this is about to last 30 seconds and then I'm going to be able to feel okay again. So that's kind of how I labor. So it might not look like I'm in an excessive amount of pain. I was in an excessive amount of pain. Contractions got to be 1 minute apart on our 3rd loop around the neighborhood, and that's when we decided we're a couple minutes away. We are going to the hospital now, because I was not about to go to that hospital and get turned away, because the hospital has a reputation, if you're not 3 or more centimeters dilated for many women, then hey, you're leaving, you're going out. And I could not handle any mental defeat during our drive there, which again is a couple minutes. It's about 1.5 miles away. We had to stop twice. So Luke pulled over and he gave me just helpful directions. Hey, Ash, I want you to make it to that bench. I'm going to drive over there and get you. So he just helped me get out of that extremely painful position, which is for me sitting, and then also the threat of labor slowing got me upright. I would walk a little bit and then, let him know like, hey, let's get back in the car. So that would maybe walk through 1 or 2 contractions. We get to the hospital and bad news. The front doors are locked. I couldn't believe it. We had to walk maybe 200 meters. It felt like a half a mile to the ER entrance. Luke, he does not get his feathers ruffled very easily. He's an extremely competent, calm, collected man. And I think in this moment, he told me in retrospect, he was like, I was really scared. Like that baby was gonna come out on the sidewalk. It got to the point where I was like, I need to get down on all 4s. He knows for me that means push a baby out. And if I get down, I don't know if I can get back up. So those words like came out in between contractions, and he was like, let's just make it to that next pole. Just lean on me, like you've got this. And so through Luke's encouragement, he helped me get inside the hospital. Once we were there, I just kind of went into my zone like, hey, like bright lights here, so let's kind of shade the eyes. I shut my eyes a lot, which helps me stay internal, kind of like mama bear in a cave. The midwife checked me in order to do intake, and she said, you're 9.5 centimeters. This baby is coming very soon. And I said, you know, how am I effaced? And she was like, you are about 100% effaced. So they quickly got me to a room. They checked baby's heart rate. There was no sign of stress or duress for Laurel, which was just really reassuring to me, because you never really know, right? Until a doctor or midwife checks you, you don't know the state of your baby's position or the amount of stress that they could be on. So that was super reassuring. And I asked her, do you feel comfortable breaking my water? Because I've had success with that with my other deliveries. And she said, sure, let's do it. So she got what looks like a little crocheting needle. Ladies, if you've never had your water broken, it looks primitive. And that's what it is. It's a simple way to help women who are ready to push, but your water hasn't broken, to be able to push. So she broke my water and did about 3 breaks. An excellent job. I was like, this is a pro, you know, like I've got this girl on my side. I was on my side to break my water. So I'm lying down like this. She breaks my water. And then I asked Luke to help sit me up. So he's right in front of me. And I was like, sit me up, babe. So I hold onto him. He lifts me up in this position. So I'm right here. I'm just leaning over Luke. Laurel comes shooting out. It was 1 contraction, about 3 extremely hard, screaming, like deep guttural pushes. In 1 contraction, Laurel came out perfectly. She came out flawlessly. I heard her cry, you know, and that's when I started crying. It was just extremely rewarding. Before Luke sat me up, I said, God, I need you right now, audibly out loud. And much of those prayers and much of my conversation with God is very internal to myself prayers, because I know that he hears my heart. He sees my needs. He knows my max capacity. And in that moment on my side, when that water was breaking, I felt like I couldn't handle any more contractions. I was at my max capacity. God answered my prayers. He saw me at my most needy point. Sometimes when we feel so ill-equipped, like we just can't do this anymore, or I don't know how I'm going to have 4 kids, or I don't know how I'm going to be able to work again, or do anything again, or take a shower again. When we feel so ill-equipped, God doesn't call those who are equipped. He calls those who are not equipped. And then when we say yes to him, that we accept you, God, we accept your son, Jesus, then he equips us for everything we need, for our ministry, for our calling. And for me, right now in this season of life, my number 1 ministry is my family. And it's these babies, this family right here before me. And then it's GlowBodyPT, in that order. In the hospital, I recommend eating everything they give you that you like. So I had the mom and baby meal. I drank my favorite postpartum drink to have immediately in the hospital as a little celebration. It's a sparkling apple cider, non-alcoholic, but it kind of tastes like an alcoholic treat that's bubbly and sweet and delicious and rewarding. So I really enjoyed that. And after that, I try not to drink my calories, and that's just following nutrition goal 1 of my 12-week post-pregnancy plan. So not restrictive nutrition goals at all. There's just little tiny tweaks to your diet that are going to help you lose weight and reduce the amount of calories that aren't fueling your body to recover postpartum, and instead help you fill up on really nutrient dense calories that are high in antioxidants, micronutrients, vitamins. This is my 12-week post-pregnancy plan. I will not be starting this until I am officially cleared at 6 weeks postpartum. It's typically 8 to 9 weeks postpartum when you deliver via C-section, because that's the same as undergoing a major abdominal surgery. This is huge. And in here you get 3 nutrition goals. And nutrition goal 1 is cleaning up your drink. You get printables for all of your workouts. They're all click and go videos. And you literally just, this is weeks 1 through 4. You click and go. I coach you through everything. It takes all of the brain work out. I would never do anything else myself besides my 12-week post-pregnancy plan postpartum, because I know it works. It would be dumb not to. It saves me so much time and mental stress because I've already put in the research. We already have the proven results. It is backed by science. These are the best exercises to do. So I feel mentally healthy taking a break from exercise, because I know that I'm going to be on my 12-week post-pregnancy plan in about a month and a half, and I'm going to feel really good again because I know that it works. And then it also comes with my mom cookbook. They're all digital downloads, by the way. I had mine printed because I like things on paper, and these have so many recipes. PMS brownies. There's my team. I am going to be eating a bunch of these foods in my postpartum recovery: afternoon pick-me-up smoothie, my granola, banana bread, jumbo muffins, rocket fuel salad, addicting curry lettuce wraps, baby-led weaning ideas, kid lunch ideas, takeout curry, beef stew, Indian dal, Scooby-Doo Supremes. I'm not even saying them all. My Montana grilled sandwich, loaded enchilada casserole. We love Mexican food. Kid favorite ramen. Hormone balancing soup was my first meal coming home postpartum. Luke made that. Go to stir fry. Favorite meatballs that aren't really meat. They're so good. Luke said he wouldn't care if I never made real meatballs again. Cauliflower Alfredo tortellini. Best ever meatless tacos. 15 bean chipotle chili. How to include your kids in the kitchen, all of the nutrition on why I have ingredients included, women specific, hormonal specific, when you should eat them, what they're doing for your hair, skin, for your nails, for detoxing your body, for recovery, muscle recovery, for what to eat before workouts, everything. So 12-week post-pregnancy plan now comes with my mom cookbook, which is brand new. It launched a couple days before Aurora was born. Last thing that I do want to include is I was group strep B positive, which is something that I felt really embarrassed about when I found that out. I felt like, hey, I eat my Greek yogurt, I eat kombucha, I have a really healthy, well-rounded diet that is rich in prebiotics and probiotics. How do I have this unhealthy bacteria in my body? And the fact is it's a bacteria that comes and goes in women's bodies that we don't notice it as adults. To us, it's completely not harmful. There's nothing we can really do about it. Even if you take antibiotics, they can come back 2 weeks later at full force. So when you have group strep B, most doctors either give you antibiotics during your labor in order to help prevent baby from getting group strep B, which can turn potentially deadly for them in very rare circumstances, but it can happen. Or doctors sometimes recommend that you do a 48-hour stay in the hospital postpartum so that they can give a little extra observation time to baby's vitals and signs of life, just to ensure that your baby didn't get group strep B. So we did that. We stayed in the hospital for 48 hours. Since I didn't get to the hospital till last minute, the midwife called it a drive-by delivery. There were zero signs of Laurel having anything wrong with her. Her vitals were completely healthy, which is just such a blessing. I think my pelvic floor is healing really well. I'll definitely be using the Peri bottle. In about a couple weeks, I'll start taking Epsom salt baths. I'm going to be very gentle on my pelvic floor for a while because I value it as an athlete long term. I want to have a long and strong pelvic floor to prevent incontinence and just to be able to get back to my everyday activities, including exercise on the 12-week post-pregnancy plan, and then the 10-minute plan, and then lean, fast, strong, capable plan, and then my goals as a runner and triathlete later on next year. So all of those are important to me and worth it for resting hard. Stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing my 1-week postpartum video. I love you ladies so much. If you'd like this, please give it a thumbs up and press subscribe. Join me here at GlowBodyPT because I give you so much free content and I truly care about you and your success. I love you ladies. I'll see you next time. Bye.